Hey everyone, welcome in. Welcome in. Hope you guys are doing good. I'm glad you guys for joining. I'm just getting everything set up over here. All right. There's our handsome host. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hope everyone is doing great. Fantastic. I'm about to conduct an interview. I'm gonna give you guys a brief of the story of what's going on, okay? So you guys know. Very unfortunate, sad situation, very unfortunate. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to give you a little bit of brief, just a rundown of what's going on with this situation. All right. So let me give you a little bit. Now, I've been talking to his mother for a while, ever since the beginning of the year. But, see who we got in the room. Loved your live early chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So um, Adam Leisher is his name, and he was living down here in Florida. And I'm just gonna give you just a quick, just a quick description, but I'm gonna let his mother, when she comes on, I'm gonna let her explain, thoroughly for you guys. But December 23rd, 2024 is when it all happened. So almost 2.5 years ago. It all began with a welfare check on him. Police conducted a welfare check. Now he actually lived with roommates. And what happened was they went into his room, and actually, I don't even think they really went into the room to investigate. Like I said, she's going to explain a lot of this. But they labeled, he was found dead, unfortunately, but they labeled it a self-deletion. Now, here in YouTube world, we can't use the S word because YouTube will start thinking that YouTube will start thinking I'm the one that's doing it. It's happened to me before when I was talking about Ellen Greenberg and another case out of Texas. Start talking about this, and YouTube starts sending me messages thinking I'm about to commit doing it, so, and they flagged the video. So I got to use other words besides the sua word. Okay. Um, but they labeled it a self deletion. All right. And his mom thinks that the investigation actually was not properly handled. That possibly there might be something behind what happened to him. So we're going to talk with his mother, and she's going to give us the full details and, you know, give her the platform. So just a quick rundown of what's going on here. And I hope you guys are doing great out there. Ellen Greenberg, that's how you learned about it. Yes, actually, that was, I think that was how I learned. I don't remember because I was doing two cases at that time. Ellen Greenberg and another case, the young lady out of Texas who, I don't know if you remember this one. I covered it. The lady who was going to school, and then they found her from on the ground. Apparently, she jumped from 17 stories, but her friends were there. So I was covering a couple cases at that time about this like kind of topic. And I remember my Ellen Greenberg video got flagged, and YouTube sent me a long message. Hey, here's a hotline number if you're thinking about doing this. And I was like, what? No, I'm not. No, not me. Ellen. So I learned from doing that video, I got to be careful on how I word certain things, and freedom of speech, right? Not to a point anyway. But hope you guys are doing great out there. And let me see what we got going on. And for you guys that were in the chat, that was in the chat earlier, thank you for joining earlier. That chat was awesome. We had a lot going on in that one. That one was very great. I loved it. Thank you guys so much for that. We got a lot accomplished in the other chat though. Yeah, come on in, hit that like button. Julia's done. She's done with her. All right. Julia can finally join us, huh? Julia can finally join us. We got Grand Slam in here. Hold on, you guys. Be right back. All right, I am back. Somebody was at the door. They need to learn context. Yeah, they do. Did you see the photo of my suspect I emailed you? I didn't see that yet. I am getting a bunch of emails. But I'm pretty sure I'm definitely going to get to it. Definitely going to get to it tonight. Let's try this again. Hold on real quick, guys. I'm just sending his mom the link right now. Bear with me. All right. Sending her the link. Yes, make sure you guys hit that like button. Let's try and hit that like button to get most people in here as possible so they can hear her story. Maybe the right person will hear it. Maybe the right person can do something. That is the whole goal. And wait till you hear. There's a little controversy on, I think it's the main cop or detective. Wait till you hear the controversy about that. Yeah, there's a main controversy about the lead detective with a story that you guys have probably already heard before. So I'm going to ask her if that person or that cop is still involved with this. Actually, I'm going to pull it up now while I'm waiting for her on car. All right. Hello, Farah. Welcome to Fugitive TV.
Hi,
How are you doing?
doing.
Yeah, is it pronounced? It's pronounced Farah. Make sure I
Yes,
pronounce
it
that right.
is.
All right.
Is my screen on?
No, it's off. Nobody can see you.
Oh, okay. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
yeah.
was looking at it, so I was wondering. Um,
I made sure it was off. Don't worry.
yeah, no, that's okay. I'm just like I've had a very long day of trying to computer fix.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know that. Yeah, and computers always want to go down or not work when you need it the most.
Well, it seems to be working. I don't know. I'm putting in a lot of information for the last 17 months in this computer.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm gonna tell you a story about this computer.
Yeah.
It has to do with Adam. So
Oh wow.
Adam bought um, new laptops and new things on like Memorial Day on
Uh huh.
2024. He did that blue sapphire blue stuff, you know. He did that for all his new Apple products, and this one had a little messed up tiny bit on the screen just recently. And he says, "Well, Mama," he says, "I think, maybe you need a new setup or something with two like 32-inch monitors or something like that." And he said, "Well, I have the perfect laptop for you because you don't need to ever open it up. You use your keyboard, your mouse, and whatever's on there, and I'll set it up for you." And on Thanksgiving, 3 weeks before my son's life was taken from him, he was here. He spent all day with me. We watched the Thanksgiving Day parade. Called me early in the morning. He sent me a text. He said, "Mama," he says, "would you like to have some coffee and dessert?" And he stopped at Starbucks and he brought 3 desserts and 2 Americanos. And we watched the Thanksgiving Day parade. And we had the most amazing day. And he redid my office with me. I started earlier, but he did the whole computer system. And I upgraded one of the softwares and it messed up one of the monitors. But yeah, so Adam did that for me. So this is like really Adam's computer for me. And then
Gotcha.
of course he had his work laptop and the reason, since we're talking about computers, I thought I'd mention that because that's one of his items that's missing that he used all the time, every day when he worked at Toyota. And he didn't leave that laptop even for 5 minutes if he went to the restroom, and it's missing.
Oh man, so my condolences go out to you first of all. I mean, it's horrible the situation you're going through, and it's like you're going through it for so long. It's been three, 1, 2, 2.5 years now, and
It is,
you
it's
could tell
17
there's
months.
oh man, and you could tell it's like still no closure, at all to it because of what's going on. If you could do me a favor, just describe to everybody exactly, exactly what happened, what led up to them, doing a welfare check, things like that.
Sure. So Adam is, he was quite successful. Um, what led up to it, my understanding, and I have more of an understanding based on watching body cam and things like that. But basically, these roommates that came from nowhere because he rented the house. So I don't know where these roommates came from. And these roommates have nothing to do with my son. They are friends of the landlord,
Mm.
and they have nothing in common with my son. They like to drink and party, and to the point where the neighbors are calling the police. And my son didn't drink or party. His focus was different. It was always creating, inventing, doing things, and just like taking care of your body internally, externally, just living an extremely healthy, good life. And so these are his roommates. And all of a sudden, Adam is working at the new Toyota dealership and he's loving it because it's a corporation. And Adam is so disciplined. So he loves structure. And he's like, it's structured, it's organized, it's wonderful. I love this place. He's working over there. And I don't know if you guys know anything about car dealership people, they make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Adam didn't flaunt. He didn't wear diamonds and things, but he wore like $3,000 shoes.
Yeah.
So, but those were his thing. He didn't go party, but he spent that money on taking care of himself. I mean, right before he passed away, he ordered a dozen mizzen and main shirts,
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, he cared very much about what he put in his body, on his body, how he took care of his body. That's just the way he lived. He even spent $10,000 at the chiropractor with his own money, not insurance, to make sure that he was healthy.
Wow.
This
Okay.
is somebody who regularly went to go get to Massage Envy to make sure that he went to a massage therapist, that he was healthy. He had 3 gym memberships and he used all of them, and he had his own gym of like, the free weights and stuff. And he was a runner on top of it. So this is somebody who's a very healthy person. And he left work in the middle of December. Now, mind you, he sells cars. Now, anybody who sells cars, clothes, anything in retail or anything that sells, when do people buy something that they don't buy all year long? Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is my son, not just my words, but basically everybody else's words. I will tell you. They said, Adam works 7 days a week. He loves it. He's always here. Adam doesn't even go to lunch. He's the first one in and the last one out. Okay. And that was his discipline. That was his structure. Now, how does somebody like that leave on Friday the 13th in December of 2024 in the middle of the afternoon for a family emergency, which he announces to everybody? Because there was a meeting going on. He opened and told them that, I have to leave. I have a family emergency. Now, who called him? Because that house, he told me a few days before we were discussing it. He says, Mama, he says, I think I'm just going to tell them they could even keep all my stuff. I'm never going back to that place that I used to live at. And I said probably the most awful and stupidest thing ever imaginable, and I'll never forgive myself. I said, those are your things. You have a right to go get them.
Wow.
So here he is. Here people are calling the police about what's going on. Not Adam, but that's what's going on over there. And that there are beer bottles being thrown and there's racist rants. And these are neighbors that let me record them. And I have these recordings. I've conveyed this to the police. Nobody's doing anything. So this is Adam. So now these people, these roommates that came out of somewhere, decide to call the police because, and I was told, this is what I've learned, that one basically came home for lunch. His name is Nicholas Hostler or Hustler. I have no idea. Hoessler. I mean, they're his roommates. I'm not saying anything bad or good. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just, in reality, that's what it was. This was my son. These are the people that he lived with, and it's on the police report. You could see their names. So, I'm not doing anything to point fingers at anybody. I'm just being
Yeah.
transparent with everyone. That's my goal. My goal is not to point fingers. But my goal will be to show you the gaps that are in the failure of the police department in handling the case. Um, but I want to be transparent, but I'm not pointing fingers. I will point at issues. But so he decides that he's coming home. He makes a burger, and then at some point, he decides that he thinks he smells something. So then he decides to go get Connor Everett Reeves, his roommate, and decides to go to the base to go get him. I find that odd because both of them just bought trucks from my son at Toyota.
Hmm.
And I know there were issues. They had issues with Toyota, but they took them out on my son because they were not happy with some things that happened, and it had nothing to do with Adam. I'm aware of that. So that's all I'm going to say as far as that. And then, so why did he have to go get him? They both bought brand new trucks. So why did he have to go get him from Hurlburt Field, which is 10 miles away, and then come back? And then Nicholas doesn't call the police. Connor calls the police. And I also find it interesting that on the 911 call, Connor is having a conversation. If you listen to it, there's a little part which you have to, listen to it very carefully. He's telling Nicholas how to open a door, and he said it doesn't really open, like, whatever, you can hear it. And why would you be telling him how to open a door specifically in a certain way if he lives there? These are
Interesting.
just things that I'm picking up. Okay. So Connor calls instead. They're talking about they smelled something, so they felt the need to call, like maybe there's something wrong. How they associated the smell with something wrong, I don't know. And because my son runs, I mean, even if his vehicle's there, he could be out running,
Yeah.
So, right, or he could be with friends, or whatever. So how they associated something wrong with an odor, I don't know. But they also did tell the police that Nicholas did that he wasn't sure if it was decomposition or feces. Now, I think that's quite an odd choice of words. Do you not think so?
Well, why would they say that?
That is
Interesting.
what the police report says. That is what the investigator told me. These are the things that were told to me. And then I'm going to let everybody figure out for themselves how they want to decipher it, because I'm not here to tell you what to believe.
Yeah.
I can only. Mhm.
Oh, how long was it that allegedly they're saying that, they smelt this? How long, how many days was this actually? Do you know?
If you ask me,
Yep.
I'd say 2.5 days, maybe almost 3.
Okay.
But that is my conclusion after seeing all of this. But I'm not going to get into my conclusions. I'm going to only give you the facts that I can provide for you, because that little bit you just asked me could be a whole day of conversation.
Gotcha.
So, um, so this is what they told the police. But I find that very strange, because if you listen to that 911 call, There's all these ridiculous hypotheticals. Oh, he said his face was weird or his hands were weird. Well, that's really not a person that knows my son. They laughed. They thought it was ridiculous for somebody to come and say something like that. And the other things that are said on there about people being in places and things like that, nothing was ever verified. Not one thing. And where are these strange messages? I think it's very interesting because there are none. There was only one message with one word and a question mark from my son's phone that I know of, that I was told. That was the strange message. Now, I'm going to tell everybody what this message is, and you tell me, because this is what the police told me. There was a message. It was so strange. It was very strange. But what was the message? Really? I said, well, what do you mean? Well, the word really with the question mark. What does that mean? Can anybody tell me that? Because I can't. To me, that's a regular word. If somebody says something like "I did this" or "I did that" or "I'm going here" or "I look this" or I
Yeah.
have tickets to this. You say, "Really?" Yeah, that was a strange message. So that should give you an understanding of the investigation. And if you've seen the body cam, you can really understand it. Plus the 911 call, some of the things that I see are, oh, well, he's been locked up in his room for 2 weeks. Oh, well, we saw him 2 days ago. Well, we talked to him yesterday. Well, I don't know. It can't be all of those things at the same time.
Yeah, very, very, very strange or and odd for them. Like how you said, really, and then with a question mark. I mean, that could be anything, really. Like I'm going out to the park today, really. I'm gonna come with you. So that, yeah, I understand what you're saying with that, and going over the situation, the case of what has happened. So I do know that they're saying that it was done with a weapon, with a pistol. But I do know that you told me that there was really no autopsy. So as in like they just walked in and said, "Oh, this is it, case closed," and walked out. Um, could you describe about? I remember you telling me about how like with his dominant hand and his non-dominant hand, that situation.
Okay, first of all, if you've seen the body cam is only 48 seconds long. And in that time, they already determined what it was, called dispatch, and had dispatch coded as a self inflicted.
Interesting.
Actually, it
48
was less than that.
seconds.
No, it was less than that, actually, because they unlocked the door with the butter knife. Okay. And when they unlock the door, I have to laugh at this because I'm just so disgusted and appalled. It's not laughing as funny, it's laughing as in disgust. Um, that here they they open the door with the butter knife. They're deciding all of a sudden now, before they're opening the door, what it is, what they are gonna say it is. And as they're opening the door, they're like, "Yep, yep, 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 yep." That's all you hear in the body cam. I have it posted. If anybody hasn't seen it, the body cam and 911 call. One is called Exhibit One, and one is called Exhibit Two, and it shows that. So by the time the third, so by the time they got it open, they opened the door and actually had it somewhat open where a person could walk through. I think it was like 17 or 27 seconds. And then the last 11 seconds is when the guy walked in there, who's a corporal, and decided that I guess maybe he thinks he's a medical examiner because he decided to call in the time of death and yeah, and exactly the manner of death too. I didn't know cops could do that because, as far as I know, the only person allowed to label that is a medical examiner who probably has never seen my son because he had a scheduled autopsy. And I was told he was supposed to have an autopsy, and I couldn't see him until after he had an autopsy. And yeah, a lot of people kept a lot of secrets because nobody ever told me he didn't have this. They canceled it. I only found out after I buried my son. I buried my son when everybody's getting ready to party. On December 30th, 2024, I buried my son. And January 2nd, I picked up a death certificate, something no parent should ever have to do. And on
Mm.
that, I see it says self inflicted with no explanation of how. It says he doesn't smoke, he doesn't drink. I said, okay, it's true. So I call them and I say, what the hell is this? You
Wow.
need to explain this to me because you need to show me this autopsy report. I need to see this. I need to understand this. And they said, well, we don't have it. I said, when will you have it? They said, well, we didn't do an autopsy.
Wow. They didn't do an autopsy. So even though a weapon, a pistol was involved, and correct me if I'm wrong, there was evidence of more than one projectile.
Yes. And nobody has ever told me who the firearm belongs to.
So you don't even know to this day who the firearm belongs to.
Nope.
Wow. Let me I'm gonna update people. I see some people asking about this case that just joined, so I'm just gonna briefly update them. I'm speaking with Adam's mom. Adam unfortunately lost his life December 23rd, 2024 here in Florida. And they're saying it's a self deletion. They walked into his room, and he lived with roommates. Walked into his room and pretty much did not do a proper investigation whatsoever. Labeled it a self deletion within under like 15 seconds. And we're talking with her. I'm talking with her, his mom right now, and she's telling the whole story about what's happening, what's going on, because we do know some of these cases just like this, because I've covered them, where I don't know if they're lazy, don't want to do the proper investigation or what, but they'll just walk in and label it case closed, self deletion, and then walk out and call it, call it a day. So right now she's talking about the body cam footage, how it was barely 15 seconds of them inside the room, and apparently he used a weapon, a pistol, but she doesn't even know who the pistol belongs to. They never told her that. And there's evidence of more than one projectile, which that right
Oh, yeah.
there does not make sense. So you fire once, miss, and fire again. That makes no sense right there.
Oh, and then it was with the left hand. Okay. My son is right handed.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So with
First
the
of all, you can't do this with the left hand and still be holding it
wow.
in a place, in a position that it's not even humanly possible to have done this to yourself.
Wow. So when it comes to the autopsy, could you ask to get one by chance,
Yes, I'm
or
going to be asking the court to exhume my son and do an autopsy myself. Now I have to disturb my son's grave and probably lose a lot of evidence
yes.
because of the negligence of these government entities.
Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's horrible. I know what it's like to lose a child. I know I lost my 3-year-old son, and just imagine have to dig up his grave to, that just brings back pain and memories. But I guess it's a good thing. Hopefully, if they redo it, they can find something that that can lead to something else. Now when afterwards, how long do you know how long it took them like to clean up the place, the room?
Yeah, actually, the landlord got called a company to and hired them. Now, listen to this, mind you. Don't forget, this is December 23rd, 2024. 2 days before Christmas, he got somebody to come start the cleanup right away that day.
Oh my God, that day.
That day.
And around Christmas, cleanup maids and everything,
And he
and
actually
crimes, they're
hired two
busy.
different companies. He hired two different companies. He hired one, didn't use them, and then he hired another one and used them. And that day, I wasn't allowed to go there. I was allowed to go there on the fourth day because I was told that my son was gone on the 23rd And on the 26th, I was finally allowed to go there. And when I went there, it looked like a construction zone. Everything was gone. My son's bed was gone. His sofa set was gone. All his things were gone. His carpet was gone. Yeah, I just had a couple of boxes sitting there, and I'm like, "What is this? Where's?" We just cleaned up. Like, I can't believe this. I don't even believe that I'm seeing this. And somebody stole his car keys too, by the way, so I couldn't even bring his Sequoia home.
Wow.
And his money that was there on the shelf, that was stolen too. All his shoes were stolen. I find it interesting that they were in the landlord's closet, though.
How did they find that out? How did you find that out?
Well, as my cousin was there with me, and we were walking out, and I said, "Well, I got some of his stuff, and then we'll come back and get the rest." And he's like, "Well, I took pictures." And then afterwards, he took pictures, and I looked at the pictures, and he's like, "Those are all Adam's shoes." And I said, "Where were they?" I said, "I don't have them." And he said, "They were in that closet, the other closet, 2 rooms away from his room. That was, they were all over there." And I said, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I wanted to go back there, but the cleaning guy, oh, by the way, the cleaning guy lived there with his girlfriend for 10 months.
What? So this
Yes.
was so I guess the landlord, he owned a home and I guess he lived there too and was just renting the rooms out to people. Is that what he was doing?
Well, as far as I know, my son rented a house. So I don't know
Interesting.
how he became a renter of a room. Okay. So I don't know where these people came from because my son didn't know them. He had nothing to do with them. They're all affiliated with the landlord. So all I know is the guy that did this cleanup, and I wasn't allowed to go back there. He told me I can't go back there. I said, "What do you mean I can't go back there? I was barely there 2 afternoons and maybe like an hour." And he's like, "Well, you can't go back there." The landlord didn't want me back there because he thought he heard me say the word, red rum. I don't know if you're allowed to say schmurder,
Oh,
whatever.
you're good. Yeah.
But
Thank you.
yeah, yeah, I didn't know. But I'm like, I don't know when he would have heard me say it because I only saw all of them outside the house on the 26th, and I thought that was strange because they all looked like they were hanging out, having a little old party, and I thought it was odd because they moved away, the roommates. So why were they there?
Yeah, that's
And
yeah, very I mean, even just with this part alone, it doesn't sound right. And we haven't even got into the investigators and things like that yet. The one
oh,
question I do have about the autopsy was I did read in one of the messages that you have that there was supposed so the autopsy was allegedly supposed to be scheduled originally.
it was scheduled.
Wow, it was scheduled.
It
They
was
never did it.
scheduled. They never did it. And then I was told the most outrageous thing that this visual is an autopsy. And I'm like, I never heard of anything so ridiculous in my life.
What?
But anyway, let's get back to where he left work. Okay.
Yeah.
He leaves work on the 13th, Friday, the 13th of December. And it's like he vanished off the face of this earth.
Wow.
And then the next thing you know is he's found deceased.
And all his things are gone and stolen and
Yeah.
robbed from him.
Yeah, but apparently he did this to himself with the wrong hand and multiple projectiles. And he had all these injuries on him. I guess he put those on himself too.
So there was physical injuries on top of that.
Oh, massive.
Was it
But
injuries like he got into a fight or?
no, a lot worse. And then I don't want to go delve into them,
Yeah.
but I thought it was incredible that for some reason the sheriff's office, according to them, even though you see them right there at the crime scene, all the injuries, they put down there are no injuries. So the body cams show injuries, the pictures show injuries, but they don't see any injuries. The medical examiner doesn't see any of the God knows how many injuries all over his body.
Oh my God.
So let's move further into, what's really going on. Why is it that all of a sudden these people that have nothing to do with him, the people that shot out his headlights, yes, they did. And I actually sent those pictures to the investigator. They shot out the headlights of his Sequoia and the side lights and stuff, and it showed. I have pictures of him with the replacements and of the side lights, and the headlights still had the holes. And I sent, and there's broken glass in his car and all these things. And the sheriff's office doesn't feel a need to look at this because he didn't pass in his car.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Thank you.
That makes no sense.
See,
That yeah, that's no sense because he didn't pass in his car, but the car looks like it's been vandalized. That's still considered a crime scene if something happened to the vehicle. So
but
that
mind
yeah,
you, my son was a very meticulously clean person. Like the type, I mean, wherever he lived or his room, or you could eat off the floor in his house. It's so clean. That's how he lived. These people didn't live like that. I was very surprised
oh
because he
man.
was super, super clean.
The now the lead investigator, or the I
Yes,
should say
let's
the lead
discuss him.
supervisor, or she's the one that has been criticized before, right? About she was in the news before with the acorn that fell in the truck, is or the her vehicle with the guy that was arrested. Is that correct?
Um, yes, let's discuss her and Staley because I think everybody will get a great glimpse into this.
Yeah, and I
So
even have
her,
a news clip actually too, so people can see who we're talking about. So I do have a news clip of when this incident happened with the whole acorn thing. So I will show that news clip, once you get finished talking.
yes, it was in December of 2023. It was 1 year before my son passed away. And then, by the way, people, just so you know something about this county, in May of 2024, Airman Roger Fortson, they went to the wrong apartment. He opened his door and they shot him 5 times.
Oh my God.
So that was within a year. It was the acorn, that, and I don't know how many others, but this lack of investigation and uh, it just seems to be, from what I see on a regular basis, that there's only two labels that you're going to get, three labels if you die here at this place. Okay. You fall off a balcony, you get pushed off a balcony, you get pew pewed, whatever. It's all self inflicted. Okay. They're all self inflicted. Or if you're on a motorcycle or something, then it's just an accident. Even if it's in a car, even if it's a drunk driver, whatever, that's just an accident. So you're an accident or you're self inflicted. And if you're old, well, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. Yes, you're just old. Okay, that's it. This is what I see. This is very sad. This is what I see. But the supervisor, you're talking about Elizabeth Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Acorn incident. Yeah, between her and the other guy, they put 38 rounds in a police vehicle with a young man that was handcuffed inside, that was whatever, patting down, whatever they did to make sure he didn't have anything on him. They did all of that, put cuffs on him, put him in the vehicle. And the one thought he heard an acorn fall and thought it was him shooting at them. So they put 38 rounds in the car. And thankfully, God bless this young man that he still lived, and I'm sure he's traumatized for the rest of his life. I can't
Oh
imagine
my,
what he
yeah.
went through.
Yeah, as
And
soon
the
as you
other
told me about
family,
that, yeah, as soon as you told me about the acorn situation, because I live here in Florida too, and it was a big news down here when that whole acorn thing popped up. So as soon as you told me, I knew exactly what you were talking about.
and yes, and the other person um, resigned, and she's still working. Apparently, they made a 44-page uh, binder, or whatever you want to call it, manual for how to proceed with firearms. I don't know. I need to look for it because I need to see what it says, because apparently they haven't learned. And maybe if we get down to it, you'll learn why I said that.
Okay.
And then she has continued to work, and she is a Supervisor. And unfortunately for my son, she was the supervisor in this case. And I don't even have any body cam from her. Don't you find that interesting that there is no body cam from the supervisor?
So she was there at the scene and doesn't have any body cam footage.
Right. But she was
So
there after. After, according to paperwork, the case is closed. The case was closed 20 minutes. That's what it
wow.
says on the police report.
I'm gonna show people this clip so that way they can see exactly who we're talking about. So let me show these people this clip, okay? So this right here is who we're talking about. The officer when she fired at the Acorn, or I should say at, you guys are gonna see. I'll play it and watch this.
Interview with a Florida man who was shot at nearly 24 times by law enforcement, not because he was firing at them or running from them, but in fact, while he was detained in the back of a patrol car.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Where, right there?
A lot of drama there for what a sheriff's deputy says may have been an acorn hitting a car and was mistaken as gunfire. Marquis Jackson and his attorney spoke with Jamie Yukas about their lawsuit against the sheriff's office and the changes they're looking for.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
This is the moment Okaloosa County Sheriff's Deputy Jesse Hernandez opened fire on his own patrol vehicle, believing he hadn't just been shot at, but hit.
I'm hit! I'm hit!
Police say Hernandez and his partner fired at least 22 rounds at the car.
Shots fired. I got a deputy down.
24-year-old Marquis Jackson was handcuffed and sitting in the back.
Do you hear the acorn hit the roof?
Nah, I don't hear no acorn at all.
Did you hear Officer Hernandez shout, "I've been hit"?
I didn't hear none of that.
So you didn't know anything that was going on outside?
Well, I ain't do nothing at all, so I'm like, why am I even here right now? So the next thing you know, all I hear is the gunshots. The first one, I hear it come through the glass. The second one was cross my face. I can feel the wind, so that's when I ducked.
What did you think was happening?
They were trying to kill me. When somebody's shooting at you, that's all they could be trying to do is kill you.
The incident played out as Deputy Jesse Hernandez and Sergeant Beth Roberts responded to a domestic dispute involving Jackson's girlfriend last November. Police said she claimed he stole her car, threatened her, and had a gun silencer. When Jackson arrived, he says he cooperated with officers.
And I tell them, I don't got no side. Whatever she wants to do, let's do it, because basically I knew, I didn't steal her car. I didn't do nothing wrong. They searched me a couple times, then took me to the car. And right before they put me in the car, they searched me again.
Do you have any weapons on you?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'm getting patted down for it.
Because you're getting patted down.
In a statement, the sheriff says Jackson was only patted down once. Jackson claims it was at least twice. He wasn't hurt and was never charged with a crime. An internal investigation found Hernandez's actions violated policy. He resigned, but Roberts was cleared. Neither faced criminal action.
What are the images you see that you can't get out of your head?
There's a whole lot of guns and glass falling, basically cop cars and sirens. I'm hearing noises all the time, stuff like that.
Do you think you have PTSD?
Most definitely.
As an advocate, we want to make sure that we get him the best help.
guys, that is who we're talking about. So her and the partner, okay? As you saw, he never even got charged with it. They put him in the back of the squad car, cuffed him, searched him. An acorn fell on top of the vehicle, and Hernandez is like, I'm hit, knowing he wasn't even hit. And they both start shooting at the car. Luckily, he was not hit. Luckily, he survived that, because you would think he would have died, but he survived that. So this is the exact same county. Unfortunately, where this happened to Adam. So we can see there is some sort of corruption or non-training. Something's going on here.
I think you should also show them the body cam video that I have. It's on YouTube. It's on several other ones. If you can bring it up, because I'm going to talk about Staley, and I think they'll have a good understanding about all the officers, the three that were there and Staley, and they've already learned about Roberts now. So that's pretty much all there is about them.
I'll bring
so
that
I think
up right now.
Yeah, it should be in a
YouTube
short.
channel again?
It's one word, Wow Shop Zone.
All right. Yep, I got it. And let's see here. Yep, I just
Yeah,
pulled it
it'll
up
be
just now.
around Christmas, or unless it says Exhibit 1 or Exhibit 2,
Okay.
which is probably February or March.
All right. So
But I'm going to talk about Staley while you look for that, if that's okay.
go ahead.
And yeah, so Investigator Staley became an investigator in July of 2024, which was just a short time.
Wow.
And somehow he's in charge of a homicide. And I'm going to call it a homicide because there's all the proof in the world to prove that it's a homicide. And there's no proof to prove that it's a self-inflicted. None. Except for Investigator Staley, he has this special way of proving things. So I'm going to tell you about the way he proves things, and you let me know what you think about it. Because Investigator Staley, when I finally met with him in January 27th, told me that he's data only happens on TV, not in real life. And he's putting my son's death as self-inflicted without facts. So think of it, the S word without facts. And I said, you can't do that. That's ridiculous. And he said, well, he had a firearm in his hand. Well, that's the day I had the unfortunate displeasure of having to look at a picture of my deceased son from the crime scene.
Hmm.
And what did I notice? That it's in the wrong hand. And you know what? This is 38 days later, and no one knew this. I had to tell them this.
Wow. Wow.
So he wants to label it self-inflicted without facts, as he called it. Those are his words. Instead of self-inflicted, you know the word to put there,
Oh yeah.
without facts.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he told me. I said, you can't do that. And he said, I said, you became an investigator in June or July. That's the question I asked him at the time. I wasn't 100% sure. And he said yes. And later I learned it was July because I found his promo picture. And I said, well, how many cases do you have? And he said, oh, maybe about 10. I don't know. And I said, how many are homicides? And he said, I don't work homicides.
I don't work homicides.
Yeah. And then they decided to have a surprise meeting. And you know what that meeting was about? To tell me that all their detectives work homicides. So I can't get the sheriff to meet with me in 17 months for 1 hour, but they can arrange a meeting with multiple people, including a chief investigator, and say that all our officers work homicides. And then when I asked her why did they close the case without looking at these things like, the broken glass and the missing car keys and all his missing stolen items? Well, we don't know what to tell you. He closed the case. I said, but you're the seasoned detective and he has been an investigator for 5 months. She said, well, inevitably he's in charge.
And the more I hear this, the more it sounds so similar to Ellen Greenberg. Very similar, as in, something happened to her as well. Items were missing. They took the laptop and everything else. They cleaned up the very same day when they weren't supposed to. They labeled it a self deletion right away. Then they also had a
I
meeting
didn't
to
know that.
discuss. Yeah, it's if you look up Ellen Greenberg and your son,
I
the
do. I know
stories.
everything about her case
Oh,
because I
oh
looked
yeah.
at it, but I didn't know the cleanup was the same day.
Yeah, the exact same day. They cleaned up that night. So they cleaned up that night. They took her laptop and everything else from the lawyer who's part of the family members, came and grabbed all her electric devices before police even got there. And they cleaned up the same day. I think it was that night they cleaned up. because when the detectives went back to say it's, you know, a self deletion, they told them, oh no, you got to go back and label it a crime scene. But when they went to go back to try and, I guess, do that, it was already clean. So they couldn't even do nothing about it. And then they had a meeting, the same thing. They all had a closed door meeting to figure out exactly what to say. So it's a lot of similarities in this. It's very insane what you see this. It's almost like they have to cover their selves up. Like this could have been, you know, inflicted by somebody else, but since we already ruined it, we can't go back on our word, is what it sounds like.
Oh yeah, the investigator was talking about his overtime pay and how he's going to have good times and oh, you know, this stuff isn't adding up, but whatever, you know. Yeah, that this is kind. And then the other cop telling the roommates to go sit in a vehicle with 4 or 5 loaded firearms in there and saying, "We trust you. You don't give us that kind of vibes."
Interesting. Now, before I get into the video, were the roommates ever taken for questioning? Do you know?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell. I'm just like
It's
really
okay.
angry right now.
It's all right.
Yes, I'm just like furious right now as I'm hearing this because unfortunately, every day that I go through things, I learn more and more. And it's like I could see it in my head. Everything as things are happening, I can put them together. And it just like, I think it's killing me. But at the same time, I'm not going to stop fighting. I already have my own attorney right now. I've learned to do that. I'm not good at it. I'm learning about it right now. And I've just recently had to go to court, but I'm going to let you ask the questions about what was on there. They actually decided to interview the attorneys. I mean, not the attorneys, the roommates. So I'm going to say this and then I want you to show the video.
Okay.
January 30th was one, and February, which was Nicholas Hustler or Hostler or whatever. And then the other one was February 4th was Connor Everett Reeves. And I thought it was interesting that Connor, on the report, it says that Connor told him that he went to Adam's room after the police left and went and stuck his finger where there was a bullet hole in the mini fridge. And he also said he likes to hurt animals. This is on body cam. I'm not making this up. And I will put all this stuff out at some point.
Wow.
Okay, so this is what I'm seeing from what I see in the one tiny bit, you know, I don't know. I'm just so furious at all of this. But the one question that the investigator, because I guess I'm Adam's mother, and for I guess 33 years, I guess I must not know which hand my son uses. And my words might not be accurate or reliable if I'm telling you he's right hand dominant. But instead of maybe watching a video at Toyota and seeing if I'm telling the truth, like why I would be lying about some things, makes no sense. He called my ex-husband that I've been divorced from for 29 years at that point. Now it's like over 30. And asked him what was Adam's dominant hand. And then he asked the roommate, Nicholas, what hand do he use? That is exactly word for word what investigator Christopher Staley asked him.
What hand do he use?
Yes,
Wow.
I have that on body cam. Anything I tell you guys, I have 100% proof of every single thing I tell you.
What kind
It'll
of
be coming
English
out
was that?
because I'll be going to court more and more. And I already went to court and we're working on an order for something right now.
Wow. I can't get over the what hand do he use? Like
Yes.
the English
I don't
story.
know. Well,
Wow.
apparently he was a history teacher. He worked for DCF, Department of Children and Families. And there is an issue with people's children being taken over here, which if you look up the area, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people fighting. Apparently you get paid every time you take the people's kids away and they go get adopted somewhere else. That's Walton County and this county. There are a lot of people fighting for what's happening right now. It's big news going on in
Wow.
here. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm learning something about politics. I'm not getting into it.
Yeah.
But I did go to the Board of County Commissioners meeting 4 times and I posted those videos. They don't seem to care. because this company, I mean, the sheriff's office asked for $80,000 for a combined gym. For what do they call a shared gym? They wanted $80,000 or $88,000 for that project in February, so they probably got it. Now, two people from the travel bureau want $15,000 to go, I guess, to England. Maybe they want a vacation over there for 15 grand, and they want us taxpayers to pay the bill. It's just really horrible, and it's just really sad that there's no discipline here, and there's things that are just random, whatever that I see people do, and they don't make any sense. I don't understand how an area can function like this.
I don't understand either. I ask myself this every day with a lot of these things that I cover. Every day I ask myself this. And when it comes to the body cam video, is this the correct video right here?
Yes.
All right. So
There's a couple of them because some are better than others. I mean, you should see the
Okay.
writing should be on the side, because if that's not a good one, there's like 3 different ones I
all right.
posted.
I'll play them all. I'll play them all. So let me play this one right here. We can
Yeah,
take a
and
look
maybe
at it.
911 and see what people have to say about it. They could hear that part, then telling how to open the door.
All
And
right.
telling who tells the 911 operator, wait, I'm talking to my roommate.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I
So
mean,
I'll do the.
I think you'd be thinking about telling her what she needs to know. If somebody says, when was the last time you saw Adam? You shouldn't have a summary of events. You should be able to tell them in one sentence.
You would think, right?
Yeah, so that's why I was thinking it might be good if you play those so they can have an understanding of that. And then maybe if you have time, you could add Fortson's video at the end. I think I have it on one of my clips
Okay.
because it's horrible. He just answered the door. A young guy, he was on the phone, video chatting with his girlfriend, and he wasn't sure what was going on outside because no one identified themselves as law enforcement, and knocking on the door and walking away from what I understand, and then coming back, I guess, but like the person couldn't see. But all I know is they didn't identify themselves. That I'm 100% sure about because I've read it over and over again, and I saw
Wow.
the video, and anybody else could see the video. So I don't like to say things I'm unsure about.
Yeah. All right. So I'll play the body cam. I'm gonna play the body cams, and then we'll get into the 911 call as well too, so they can hear that. So I'll play the body cams right now.
Yeah, there's only one body cam.
Okay.
There it goes. You got it open. Sheriff's office. Yeah, that's coming from here. You got it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. COD. Yep. COD? Yeah. So yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, the guns will put one of those too, by the way. Yeah.
They never go near him.
I'll just pull it out of the trigger and it.
No, they don't go anywhere near him.
They're not going to want you to move it. You want to get pictures of it? Or 114. Can I get out? Yeah. Yeah, you got up to me. I'll get some overalls real quick. No, step out.
Wait, I'm gonna rewind this real quick. Let me rewind this real quick because as soon as they open the door, it's like as soon as they open the door.
Okay, so just so you know, the last guy that went in there is the one who called the TOD. So it was 11 seconds from when he walked in, because you could see when he walked in. And then as soon as that was over, they walked right outside and told the roommates and said, you can't stop them from doing it. If that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do. You can't stop them from doing it.
Wow.
TOD? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, the guns will put one of those too, by the way. Yeah. What's got that? I'll just pull it out of the trigger and it. No. Leave it. Look how it is. Okay. They're not going to want you to move it. You want to get pictures of it? Or 114. Can I get out? Yeah. Yeah, you got up to me. I'll get some overalls real.
Agreement to exit. No approach or examination. Time of death will be called.
No, step out. Call time of death. Single GSW to the head.
See, wow. Right there.
Yeah, he's still at the door. He didn't even come inside.
Call the time of death. Single. He didn't even go to the, up to, wow.
No one did. Not one person went near my son. That's a pretty big room. None of them. The one guy that says, I'll take it out of his hand, that one went maybe near halfway in the room. No one went near him, and they called it in, and that was the end of it. And then they went outside, and the first one that went in, the older guy, the one whose camera captured everything, and he said, "Did you?" Hmm.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's like you can hear him pretty much calling it as he takes maybe 1 foot in the room, and he's already calling like what happened.
They called it as they were opening the door all of a sudden.
That's not a proper examination. He's telling him, "Oh, leave the gun in his hand," but nobody written and examined it or anything. Yeah, this makes it makes no sense at all for him just to sit there and say that already. One single to the head, like that's it. Like you didn't look at the rest of his body. You didn't do nothing. Like, come on. Yeah, that's you didn't even look at the walls to see if there's any projectile bullet holes in the walls. No, I didn't see anything of that.
Exactly.
And I'm
And
not even an
then,
examiner, and I know you got to look at all these things.
see, that's why I said you're asking all the right questions, that you are not a detective and you are not a medical examiner, but you have enough ability to say, well, this doesn't look right. These things don't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. And the first thing I would have did is I would have taped this scene off. It's a crime scene. I would have taped it off. Crime scene. Roommates would have been in question. They would have been at the station, not arrested, but at least detained and in question while I am, investigators are coming with the crime scene. That's what if this happened in my house, I'm pretty sure I would be in jail right now. Let's just put it that way.
You, you know what they were asked to do, the roommates? They were asked if they wanted some water or a chair. And if they didn't want that, they could sit in the vehicle with the 4 or 5 loaded firearms in it because they trust them.
They trust them.
Well, yeah, they don't give them that kind of vibes.
Huh. Wow.
You're
Do
you're
you
all going to see all this body cam pop up. You will. I'm just have to figure out how to edit without messing up the whole thing, because it's, little snippets of all these wonderful things that I'm just looking at, and I'm just disgusted beyond words that not only is it my child, but it could be your child. This could be somebody else's child. And I've met about 8 families who are having issues because one of them is a 9-year-old, and apparently they're all self-inflicted, but that's not what the families believe. And 2 of them, the issue with the hand dominance, they're left-handed people, and what happened to them happened on the right side.
there's a
But
comment, and this comment is correctly right. Connie says it's not even his job to call TOD, time of death. This is absolutely so wrong. It's not.
exactly.
It's the examiner's job to call the time of death. I've done so many cases now that I know the examiner is the one who calls. Whoever walks in, the police can have an approximate exact, maybe this happened, but on that certificate, it's got to be the examiner who does all that. Police's job is pretty much to secure the scene, make sure it doesn't get contaminated, just secure it, make sure it doesn't get contaminated for the examiners and the detectives to now come in and further process it. They're not supposed to be doing this at
So
all.
that would mean that you would do something important like put up crime scene tape.
Yes, yeah, that's what they should. That's procedure. They should have done that. Procedure,
But
you should do that. I'm not
but
even a
they don't
cop and I
do
know
that
this.
here. They don't do that here. That's what I was told when I asked. Because when I went to the house, when I learned of this, because first of all, I think it disgusts me that they went outside and told the roommate, and not only did they tell the roommates, they went, they told the landlord, they told all kinds of people. I didn't find out till sometime later. And then I went to the house and I asked, why wasn't there a crime scene up? Oh, well, we didn't need to do that. We don't do that.
That's a lie. That's a blatant lie. I hope that's a lie. You're supposed to put crime scene up. That's 101. so things don't get contaminated. So I did hear you say you have an attorney. One
Yeah.
question here from somebody: did you hire a private investigator as well, or do you know if they have one?
Did I hire a private investigator? No.
Yes. Or do you know if the lawyer has one by chance, or the attorney you might be working with?
I'm pro se.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I have to go fight my own battles. I don't have any money because I've been spending it on dealing with all of this stuff for the last 17 months.
Wow. Wow.
So so now I'm going to have to start getting this GoFundMe started because I need to start sending some things in for evidence because I've had, you know, I've talked to some people that are investigators about certain things that they advised me on sending some things in for testing. So I need to get those done, but I need, you know, I do have a GoFundMe and a change.org. So if anybody would be nice enough to, um, you know, please sign the petition to reopen Adam's case. And also, it's on all my videos. You could see that the link. If you could put the link up there for people, the little, what is it called? The QR code.
Yeah,
And
I'll put a link.
yeah, so, and also the GoFundMe, if anybody would be kind enough to contribute so I can start getting some of Adam's things sent in for testing. Because it doesn't appear like I'm not seeing anything. I mean, I'd be surprised if I find out anything was tested. I really don't know. I don't have any evidence of proof that anything was tested. If it was, I haven't received any proof.
Yeah, I'm gonna put, after this video's done and it gets like re-uploaded, I'm gonna put the links like for the GoFundMe and stuff in the description for people as well. So that's
Okay,
always there.
great.
And then as far as, I do have one question before I forget. So when it comes to the weapon, you did say to this day you don't know whose it was. Now, do you know by chance if they still have that, let's say, in evidence, or did they give it
Yes.
away to somebody?
No, as far as I know from court on Monday last week, they still have it in evidence, and I've asked for evidence preservation. I had a court hearing. So I filed a case against the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, the
Uh-huh.
District 1 Medical Examiner's Office, and the Fort Walton Beach Police Department. And at first, the most disgusting thing is that for some reason, even though all my paperwork said First Circuit Court, all of my paperwork says that, but they decided to file it in county court. And in case, if anybody doesn't know, the civil suits come with fees,
Mm-hmm.
you know, $400 or $500 fees.
Yep.
And the sheriff's office did not want to serve the medical examiner, so I had to get Escambia County to serve the medical examiner. And then after that case was filed, everybody, each one of them, the sheriff, the medical examiner, and the police department, all asked the judge to throw out my case because it was filed in the wrong court. But it was filed in the wrong court, not due to any fault of mine. I did everything correctly. They filed it incorrectly, and that was in early March. And then I've had to basically put in petition to the court to ask for the case to be moved to the correct court because they put it in the wrong court. Then I was told that I needed to pay another filing fee for the circuit court, and then it got moved. And then I had asked the judge for a hearing, and I got an emergency hearing for preservation to make sure nothing is destroyed, as they've already destroyed things. So that's kind of where we are in court. And they keep telling me to get an attorney, but I don't have any money. So I have to figure it out myself.
Oh wow. I mean, that's a tough situation, especially with the getting the evidence, because it's like if you can get your hands on the documents, the discovery, the evidence, things like that. I mean, if you can get your hands on that, like for example, the serial number of at least the pistol or whatever was used, you could find out who owned it, when it was bought, all kind of things just by the serial number on that alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know how to do some of the things. Some of the only thing I can do is evaluate what I have, like, the reports, the files, the body cam. Uh, I'm not sure where. I don't want to say anything.
Yeah,
It's not really negative. It's like I'm not sure where some of these people got their experience and education from. I'll say it like that
I got
because
you.
it doesn't really make sense. Their behaviors, the output, if you're a medical doctor or if you're a police person, there are protocols to follow. I used to be a teacher and a therapist and all that, but there are things that you do that you follow. You don't just, you know, come up with an answer. Like, do you go to a restaurant and they just hand you a $500 bill and say, you know what, here's your bill. And you're like, this doesn't make any sense. I only had a cup of coffee. And so you can't just accept it because they're telling you that, because inside that's not what happened. Kind of like what I'm dealing with my son's case. Like, I'm seeing all of these things that don't make any sense and they're supposed to add up to this one word. And I'm like, but none of this stuff is adding up to this.
Wow.
So I can't accept your word because you need to explain it to me, and nobody wants to explain it to me because
Are you there? Did I lose you? Oh, there she goes. She's calling back. You there?
yes.
Okay. You're back again.
Yeah, that luck. But I mean, they can't, because if they could explain it, they would. I've asked them. The sheriff finally sends me an email after 17 months when I went to the state representative and I went to the senator and everything. He finally sends me an email and says he can't give me that 1 hour that I've been asking for. After 17 months, I don't know what he would tell me, but he won't even listen to me. I can't get a meeting. Why do we have this elected official if he can't support the families in crisis?
Yeah, it's everything that you're describing right now and talking about is it really is it's really sad, and it all started, it sounds like, with them just not doing their proper investigation that they should have done. And I mean, to me, and this is me saying this, it just makes me wonder why. Why didn't they do the proper investigation? Did somebody know somebody? Did somebody have a connection with something, that we don't know about? And this is what happened, and nobody, somebody didn't want to get in trouble. It almost sounds like that in a way.
Hmm.
This is the 911 call right here, correct?
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna play this so people can hear. So this is the 911 call.
Yeah, sorry guys, at the first 3 minutes there's
911,
not
what's the
much.
address of your emergency?
Yeah, but we have been our roommate has been really off lately, and we're trying to get into his room. We don't want to break it down because it's his private room. But we haven't heard from him in a few days, and we just tried to knock and we didn't get any response. And he's not answering any of our phone calls or texts. We're worried about his safety.
Okay, bear with me. I'm just typing in some information. Is the door locked?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and can I have your name, please?
And I'm here with our other roommate. There's three of us.
Okay, and what's the phone number you're calling from? Okay, and who's the roommate that we should be checking on? you have his date of birth or how old he is?
28. Also, I can't get another exact.
And when's the last time you heard from him?
He texted me at 3:18 in the morning yesterday. But he's been. I talked to him a couple days ago.
Wait, what?
And even his text was super off. It wasn't what I was asking about.
You said he texted you at 3:18 yesterday morning?
Yes, sir. It just knocked like really hard for the
What, you said the text message was weird.
Yeah, I talked to him the day before, and he was talking. He had been sick from work. He hadn't gone to work like the week before that, and he was at home one day, but he saw him and met at the door, and then I came home from work, so I got up in PM, and it was a super weird conversation. Like our other roommate that put me right now was not here. He started saying that he like heard him at the house and stuff, and he hadn't been home all day. But our roommate that's in the room hasn't left the house in like a week and a half. So we did see him like 2 days ago. And he was saying that he doesn't like how his face looks. His hands are weird. It was just super off out of the normal.
He was saying that to you, or the other roommate? And what exactly did he say?
He doesn't like the way his face looks, his eyes look, his hands look weird. And he also stated to me that he did, don't be surprised if he's not here anymore in 5 days.
Huh?
Are you sending over his text or something?
Yes.
Okay.
They are the ones that are going to do our welfare checks.
You want
I'm sorry?
stop talking to my roommate, sorry?
Okay. All right. Does he have, I know you mentioned that he's been acting weird. Does he have any weapons or anything that he could harm himself with, or does he have any mental health conditions?
No mental health conditions. He did, I do remember it was a while back, but he did buy a firearm.
That he does own one?
If he still has it, he does, yes. As far as I'm aware, he does have one.
Do you know where he keeps it, possibly?
I do not. But
Okay, we'll see if we can get somebody out there as soon as possible. If anything else happens or you find out more information, call us back immediately.
Are they on the way right now, or are they going to deal?
I can't provide an ETA. We get them out as quickly as we can based on our call volume.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, call us back if you need anything else, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I have a question with that. He said that he heard the last time from him, it was a text message that following night, right? Is that correct?
I have to think about it exactly. Okay, so he said, wait, I don't remember which day he said. One day he said he talked to him. One day he said he talked to him in person. One day he said he talked to him on the phone. Then he said it was a text, and it sounded like 3 days in a row, like right before they called the police. That's what I understood.
Yeah,
But
it was
then
very
he
confusing
starts
how he was
off,
saying that.
Yeah, but he starts off by saying he's been in there for a week and a half. So how does he go from that to I talked to him yesterday, or he texted me yesterday, or you know?
Yeah, that was like I said, the way he was describing it, it was a little hard to understand, but you can tell it almost sounded like there was some conflicting information he was given with that. Cause I heard he texted me the previous night. I heard that loud and clear. But then him and a roommate are kind of talking to each other. You really can't hear what they're talking about. I'll have to
Yes,
take the
you hear that,
audio.
don't you?
Yeah, they're talking. You can hear them talking clear as day.
That,
I'll have to take
don't
the
you find
audio
that
and clear it
strange?
up. So I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but you can hear them talking in the background. And then he's given some information to the roommate to what to tell 911. And it just sounded like it was conflicting, like they didn't know exactly what to say. It's almost like what it sounded like.
So it sounds pretty strange to you where somebody's calling 911 and they're having their own conversation about what's going on.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they apparently, I guess, couldn't open the door, but police opened it with a butter knife.
Yeah.
But they couldn't open the door. Wow.
Yeah.
And then you
So,
described, and then earlier you said that they were talking about a smell, but if he got a text message the previous night or that night before, I don't think a smell would would be that quick.
yeah, I don't think so either. But they also Snapchatted with each other. They told the police that they Snapchatted with each other, that when Nicholas came home, and this is what I remember because I'm trying to go to the transcript that I made of the each one of the videos. So I don't know. I'm having computer problems. Like I told you, I've been working on
No
it all
problem.
day today. Yeah. So he said he went home. He thought he smelled something, but he went and grilled himself a burger anyway. Okay. Then when he ate the burger, at some point he um after he made the burger, he decided maybe there was something wrong. And first he was trying to say that the smell was probably rotten refrigerator. I mean, this is a 2,400 square foot house and it's got 4 bedrooms, and it's got high ceilings and all that. So you're not going to have smell. I mean, how nasty does a refrigerator have to be? So this is what I'm seeing it being blamed on, saying, oh, maybe it was the refrigerator, but then I decided to make a burger anyway. And then when I thought I smelled something then again, or I smelled it then. I don't know which one because it changes. The story changes. You know, one time
Yeah.
it's like I smelled it when I came home, and then, oh, I smelled it later. But regardless, there was some odor that was detected that made him say, okay, we need to call the police. That's what I'm understanding from what is going on. That there's some smell. We need to call the police. But why wouldn't you tell him about the smell? Because if you listen to that 911, did you hear anything about smell?
I didn't hear anything about it. And actually I was trying to hear to see if they were going to mention, the smell. So I was trying to see if I can hear that, but I didn't hear anything about it.
Because they didn't mention it.
Interesting.
It was never mentioned until when the police were there, it was discussed with them. So they had no idea. So here they're trying to tell the police, oh, there's this crazy guy and he's got a gun. But no, he doesn't have any ammo. And no, he doesn't have any mental health issues or anything like that. But I don't know. This is what I'm seeing on body cams. This is what I'm seeing on paperwork. I'm hearing about this great guy who's wholesome and everything from everybody else. And here I'm hearing stuff that nobody believes. This is not somebody who drinks or takes drugs. And the reason I'm bringing that up, because when you drink too much or you take drugs, it does put your body and your mindset in a different behavior pattern. So
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to behave the same way as if you are you know, in your right mind without any substances altering you. So, how does somebody go from being like that to hearing something like this with no proof? And they're going to take this one person, Connor, and decide that, you know what, his story sounds good. So let's put this down because this is what happened. He said these weird texts. Yes, the weird text is really, and yeah, he said his hands and face were weird. So you know what? It sounds good. Okay, this is what it is. Case closed. Because I don't see any investigation. I
Yeah.
mean, I told
Wow.
them where to go look. I told them, I said he used the bank machine. He withdrew $500 at the strange bank machine. Other than that, basically, he disappeared off the face of this earth. And that doesn't make sense because he's on his phone all the time. He sells cars. He's talking to people all the time. And, you know, even if it's not long, it's like, you know, a short text or a short phone call or like, you know, 5:15 appointment, 3:15, you know, whatever it is, very, very
Yeah.
short minute phone calls or texts. And here he just disappeared, but then he withdraws money and then he's gone and then he's dead.
Now I know we discussed they didn't do an autopsy. Even one was scheduled, but they never did it. What about did they ever do a toxicology report?
Yes. And it was clean.
Okay, so it came
That
back
came back
clean.
in
Okay.
March, mid-March.
Okay, so they did do
But
that and that
there's
came back
also,
clean.
I want to, yep, I want to point out, I mean, now here's some things, and I've mentioned them before, and I'm going to mention them 1,000 times. You noticed that this this area, the patterns of behavior, it's not average normal police work or anything like that. And I'm going to tell you something about the medical examiner's office, which kind of falls into the same line of I'll let you guys decide how you want to label it. There's a video that the medical examiners took that day of the crime scene. I saw the video at the next of kin meeting on February 11th, 2024. I see my son laying there. I'm asking these questions. I see two pieces on the ground, a bone or two, I'm not sure, on the carpet, far away from him. Not sure how they got there. That's not my focus. My focus is, what is that? I know it's biological matter. What is that? You know that medical examiner? The assistant medical examiner, Dr. Lorraine Lopez Burrell. Now, I'm saying her name because if anybody else has a loved one with her on the death certificate, I suggest you look at that death certificate. I strongly, strongly urge you to look at that death certificate. And if anybody has a death certificate from the District 1 Medical Examiner's Office, just to advise everybody that lives in the Panhandle, District 1 Medical Examiner consists of 4 counties: Okaloosa
Mm.
County, Escambia County, which is Pensacola,
Mm-hmm.
and Santa Rosa County, which is Navarre, and Walton County. So these are the counties that this medical examiner is in charge of. This medical examiner has a medical board reprimand for a DUI she got. I've also filed a complaint with the medical board about her. Um, she couldn't tell me what it was. All those injuries, I asked her. She couldn't tell me what they were. Her answer was, I don't know. Then when I said, but you're saying this label, the firearm was in the wrong hand. And she goes, yeah, well, sometimes they do it with both hands. And clearly, she was never aware, based on her reaction. That's the way I would see it, that she didn't even know that it was in the wrong hand until I mentioned it to her. This is
Wow.
mid-February. And then this is how I viewed it. Based on when I asked her, she just seemed very surprised. That's how I saw her reaction. And then when I said, but his toxicology was clean. And she said, well, that's more reason he would have done this to himself. Now, if anybody even has a slight, brain cell, even if they're not, even if they're just in 12th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, they could look this up. That's totally 100% incorrect. So you're telling me somebody totally sober decided to do this with the wrong hand and made it look like somebody else did it?
Wow.
And stole his own things and used his own phone after he was deceased for 6 months, including his credit cards.
Wait, his phone and credit cards were I didn't know that. They were used after he was deceased.
For 6 months.
Who was using them? Do you know?
I don't know. Maybe the police might want to look into that. I filed police reports.
How did you find out they were being used?
So why do they not want to investigate my son's death is what I'm coming to. I believe the people that have been listening to this, I'm sure that they can see that I'm giving you facts. I'm not giving you my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If you think there's something I gave you just my opinion about, please call me out on it. I gave you all information that it took me 17 months to gather, where I had to look at pictures of my son who was violently murdered. And you noticed something else. You noticed something really amazing. The first thing, when you saw that body cam, you said it doesn't look like anything happened there in that room. Didn't it look pretty spotless? Because, yeah, Investigator Staley, who was an investigator for only 5 months, said, man, he didn't leave much of a mess. Now his roommates don't have much to clean up.
Wow. Wow. And
Then
his
he
things
talked
were
about his,
used.
he talked about his overtime pay, how he was excited about his overtime pay. Yeah.
And um how did you find out his credit cards are being used? Did they tell you or?
No, because they emailed him because some transactions didn't work.
Wow. Oh, wow. So they got emails and the transactions didn't work. By chance, did you get the emails of like what stores they were, anything like that by chance? Like any like stores in person, or
They
was it
gave
all
me all
online?
the information. I gave it all to the police. They wouldn't look into it. I said, this is the store, this is the transaction, this is the amount. They won't look at it.
Wow. And the
So
sad,
why are they not looking at? I think that's the question. I mean, I've come to,
yeah.
because I've looked and looked and looked and looked, and I can't find why they wouldn't want to investigate this any further.
The one thing I can think about just by that one piece of detail right there would be possibly it's just be so hard now because it's been a year, so we don't know if they still have footage. If the cards were used, let's say in person, the store would
They
have
were.
yeah, the store would at that time at least had surveillance of who used that card. And at least from there, when you get the identity of that person who used the card, now we can see, all right, this person's using the card. Are they connect? Is this person right here connected to somebody, or what's going on with this person? Why are they using the card? Hard right now would be hard because we don't know if those stores still have the footage. That would be the hard part because it's been so
Somebody
long.
was using one of his phones for 6 months until I called the company and sent them the certificate, and I didn't want them to cut it off, but they did because they said I sent them the certificates. You can't win either way with some of these things because some of them you send them the certificate and they hold the thing, and then some of them it's like, oh, we can't hold it. We have to stop the transaction. Like, we can't let that phone keep going because you gave us this. But I'm like, no, I want you to leave it and let me see where it goes when eventually it gets looked at.
Wow. Yeah.
So I don't know what you think, Ray. I just,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do except go through the court system now. Um, honestly, it's a very scary process because, um, so let me give you an example. The court system, before I get into that, I'm not going to, so just to let you know, my son worked at Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
And there's videos. If you look at the repost on my TikToks, you'll see the videos at the bottom on the reposts, like the old reposts, and and it just bothers me because now I discovered that Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office has a star charity, and two of the contributors. One is Toyota, big contributor. Eglin Federal Credit Union is another contributor, and the other car dealership my son worked for was the other contributor. So these all three people I'm dealing with right now, the bank and all of this. And just to let you know, on that Star Charity, the big contributor, Toyota, they have pickleball tournaments every January, so they can collect a lot of money to give away to the families of law enforcement. Like, say, if somebody needs to be hospitalized or something, to kind of help them out. And there's also a video that's floating around that I'm going to repost of this guy, Nick Smith, who's suing Toyota for fraud because he said that they forged his name on a check. And then there's other video of that body cam of the sheriff's office, actually the sheriff and the manager of Toyota. I'm going to have to let you guys listen to that yourself because it is just like your mouth is going to be open. That they're planning on trying to arrest this guy or do something to him before he ever did anything. And it's on body cam. And so it's already proven that there's evidence of some sort of mishap between these two entities. And so let me give you the big drum roll here. So I looked on there and the charity, guess who is the directors of the charity or the board on the board of the charity? On the board is Christopher Staley, the 5-month investigator, and another cop, El Sasser, who signed a sworn statement, including this other officer, Hoffman. They signed sworn statements that they went and viewed my son's autopsy. You know, the one that never happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're both on the board of this charity with Toyota,
And they
the
signed
sheriff's
statements
charity.
saying, they viewed an autopsy that never even happened.
A sworn statements.
Wow, that's unbelievable. That's crazy. Oh my God. I think a lot of I think a lot of the answers if you can find out if some sort of way somebody can find out who was using the phone might be harder. Was the phone in his name? In Adam's name by chance?
Yeah, because I got emails about it needing to be renewed.
His phone, that might be
One
harder
one of his
because
phones. One of his phones.
okay, that might be harder because they might need a subpoena, which the cops ain't going to do. They're probably not going to do that subpoena for the records, but the card, whatever store that if you dig up an old email, just dig up an old email and see what stores are being used. It doesn't hurt. Try, but you have to do this in person. You can't do it over the phone. I would suggest going to the store and asking to talk with somebody and explain to them, hey, somebody stole this car or card about, tell them when it happened. And if they happen to have any footage from, when this was, somebody might have footage and might want to show you. You're not gonna know who the person is. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But at least you might have something. That's one thing I can think of with the card.
Yes, but I'm I mean, I can't even get them to give me the footage, they finally, first of all, that investigator, he illegally viewed that video
Uh-huh.
without, without, he broke a federal law. I mean, he went to a federal credit union and went and viewed video, which he didn't have a search warrant for or subpoena or anything. And then later on, they decided like a month later to get a subpoena because after I met him at the meeting, I told him, I said, he sent me a text that I just saw the video. And I said, okay, I've been asking you to watch the video for 38 days. And I told you, as soon as you told me my son was gone, I told you to go look at this video and you wouldn't look at it. And now, 19 minutes after I leave you, you're sending me a text that you viewed the video.
Mm.
And then I said, he said, it was your son taking out the money. I saw him. I'm like, okay, well, who was with him? He says, I don't know. I'm like, really? And then he said, I swear I saw the video, ma'am. Why would I lie to you? Well, all I know is later on they got a subpoena like a month later because I guess his bosses, when he was telling me that, he's ruling it as a suicide. Oh, so without
It's okay.
facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of thing. And, and I just kept saying that none of that stuff makes any sense. So I forgot. Sorry about that. But I
It's all
think you
right.
get it. And
Mhm.
yeah, so, oh,
Man,
I'm just,
like I said, I feel really. I mean, I don't even know what to say because it's a situation where, like I said, it's like it's no closure or anything to what's going on. So until you find out exactly what exactly happened, it's a burden that you're gonna wake up, go to sleep with all the time, which most people are not going to even understand that. And then you're not getting any help from the people who can help you, like law enforcement, because we know they hold all the secrets. They can crack this wide open or do the proper things they're supposed to, and they're not even doing that. So it almost makes you lose faith in the justice system, and if you ever need help, will you even call the police? You know what I mean? It's
no,
crazy.
I don't think anybody would. And the sad thing is everybody is saying that around here. They're like, they never do anything. This has been about money all the time anyway, and nobody cares about anything except for money. Because there are billion-dollar companies that have come in here since last year. Billion-dollar companies. Don't forget, this is a very small area. It relies
Hmm.
heavily on tourism, and people come and spend $10,000 just to be here for a weekend. I mean, that's a lot of money. So these are basically people that have a lot of funding and stuff and a lot of money and spend a lot of money here. And then you have billion-dollar companies and there's billion-dollar infrastructure going on. So there's no care about people, which I am shocked at. I told you I met about 8 other families that are going through this, but they don't know where to go because nobody's listening to them. And I'm not ever going to stop until I get justice for my son because, you know, if why would you not try to prove to me visually and show me or on paper or whatever it takes to say these are the steps that we took, this is what we found? I don't see that. I mean, I can't, and I have nobody, every letter I've written saying this is the one word result, but there's no explanation, and that I just have to accept it. So if you get that $5,000 bill for your coffee, you just going to accept it because they told you that's what it was, or are you going to be like, you need to explain this?
Wow. Wow. There's one question that actually I didn't think about. One person just brought it up. Do you know if the cards by chance were any of them used in another state?
Um, I don't remember it. I just know the cards were used. But the most important thing that I have an issue with is why they didn't look at the people that lived with him and that were there with him. And from when you listen to their 911, their stories sound off the wall. And even if they didn't sound off the wall, they need to be verified. So if somebody like Connor keeps saying, oh, well, Nicholas was over there in Crestview at his family's and he was over there, and he keeps bringing that up over and over again, but he wasn't here. He was over there. I mean, he's adamant about trying to put someone somewhere. So why don't they look at all their, data on their phones? They were there. I think if people live in the same house, they should be looked at.
Oh yeah, that's the way it should. Like I said, if this happened in my house right now, I'm pretty sure I would be detained in jail. At least in the office being interrogated. I'm pretty sure they would. So they didn't even get detained and taken in. They got sat in a car, and just,
They were
hey,
asked if they wanted water and a chair.
huh. Yeah, that's
And they said,
crazy.
you can't stop them. They're going to do it anyway if that's what they want to do.
Hmm.
And then the one communicates it to other people and tells the cops that I've already communicated and I've told other people about this, that, he did this to himself. Now, all of these people seem to go with this label, but mom has no idea any of this stuff is even happening right now.
Wow.
And I was told in a parking lot.
I know one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rip this audio call from the YouTube channel, and then I'm going to actually see if I can clean it up and see if I can bring out exactly what they are saying in the background, because it is possible. So I'm going to see if I can actually do that and bring that out so I can hear clearly what he's saying, and if I can actually hear the conversation that they were having in the background, because you can hear some sort of conversation between those two were going on, but just her typing and everything else was overpowering that. So I'm going to see if I can bring the typing down and bring them up so I can hear exactly what they were talking about. Because just with the call alone, it didn't sound right. It sounded contradicting everything he was saying. And we can't open the door, but the cops show up. They open the door with a butter knife. Well, you guys aren't that smart to open the door with a butter knife. Do you know, what were the roommates' jobs? Do you know by chance what they were doing? Like
Yes,
for work?
they both work. They went to the same training place in um, the military, the 359th. I'll double check that number because, like I said, my computer's all broken and I haven't done a video about that since like March. You look and you see a Koberger video on my videos. It's around that area that you're going to find those videos of the roommates. And Oh, I'm so overwhelmed. What did you just ask me? My God.
Wow.
I just
So
feel
you
like
said the
this is
roommates
making
were
me
in
sick.
some sort of training for the military?
Oh, yes. Okay. So they both work for the Air Force. They both work for NDI, non-destructive inspections. So basically, from what I understand, they go in, make changes without
Mm-hmm.
making it look like anything changed.
Wow. So that's what they were doing.
That's
Oh,
their job. Yeah, they sure. And what I'd like to do is I will send you the 911 that I have
yes.
so you can go ahead and put that directly in there. So it'll be, because for some reason it wouldn't let me let that download, to the video. So I had to actually hold my phone while that was playing. So when I send it to you, it'll be like the clean video. And they even had
Okay.
time to say bye to each other on the 911 call.
Wow. Um, they were in NDI. That's ridiculous. So if they were military, that means they probably had act or had some sort of weapons training too. If that's the case, you would think.
Oh, they had plenty of weapons. I didn't know that you needed a firearm to go to the gas station, to have a special little pocket rocket that you use to go to the gas station with. Yeah, they were very big gun enthusiasts. So I could tell you that right now. But yeah, a lot of that stuff. So, I mean, they knew each other. They went to training together. They worked together, and now they live together and they party together. And they seem to be friends with each. Like it seemed like Connor was friends with Nicholas's family, who lives in Crestview. So, and they all seemed to know the landlord and they were all friends. My son was the only one who didn't have anything to do with any of them.
Wow.
I mean, his
Actually,
lifestyle was different. He lived differently.
isn't the Air Force base up there in the Panhandle? Now that I think about it.
Yes. So what I did is I went to OSI and I talked to them, and
Wow.
Investigator Staley told them not to talk to me. And then he told me I was telling them that they're murderers. And I said, I've never said such a word to anybody. And I think after talking to me tonight, I think you know that I would not be pointing fingers and labeling people
Yeah,
because I
you
don't
just have
speak like that.
questions. We all have questions. We all have, why weren't they
Exactly.
questioned more? It's just questions that we all have. Why weren't they questioned more? Look into more. Why wasn't the whole scene should have been taped off, the whole house? Everybody should have been kicked out the house. Whole scene should have been taped off. So yeah, it's just a bunch of
And
questions to the
people
procedure. That's
shouldn't have
all.
an opportunity to go stick their fingers in a mini fridge that's a crime scene.
Do you know if they checked for the gun residue on Adam's hands by chance, or any of the roommates' hands?
Apparently, they took the tests and they said they did it, but I've never gotten any results.
Ah, because
So
you
if
never
I
got the
don't have
evidence.
results, then as far as I'm concerned, it wasn't done, because if you did it, then show me. And that's kind of what I've been doing on my social media. Show me. If
Yes.
you did it, show me. I don't care. If you could tell me that you went and found, Dr. G and had her come and do an autopsy and she did it and I just don't know about it, well, show me then. You know, show me. Because everything tells me nobody ever did an autopsy. And you guys told me that. You guys told me after I buried my son and I asked you for the autopsy report. You told me that you didn't do one because she just didn't.
I am actually looking at the actual job right now of not non-destructive inspection for the Air Force. Is right on their website, and it gets so detailed that I can't even believe that these guys couldn't figure out how to open the door, and the cops did it with a butter knife. That right there, I'm still stuck on, because I'm reading this, and these guys should have been trained in metal, trained in how to even utilizing everything from x-rays to ultrasounds to, there's a lot of perform maintenance on shop equipment and tools, handle dispose of hazardous waste and materials, detect flaws such as cracks, voids, heat damage, utilizing various test equipment, but they didn't know how to figure out how to open a bedroom door.
I
It
don't know.
doesn't.
You think they knew what was behind the door?
From the smell, I guess. The smell that they supposedly suggested, maybe. I don't know. Just by reading this article, or I should say this job description, whoever has this job, they're not dummies. They should be a smart individual. So just by
They
reading
they
this,
both they both have that job. They both work together.
wow. Yeah,
They
that's
work together.
insane.
They live together. They're friends. I mean, that's all I could tell you. I don't know much about them except, you know, what I've learned is, they did the training together, like, where one lives, where the other, that kind of like general
Yeah.
thing. I don't know anything more about them, but the things that I just know that they shot out my son's headlights and some of the other things like that. So, yeah, those
Well,
things that I know.
I'll
And
tell
there's
you.
other things
Yeah.
that I know, but I'm
Well,
not going to discuss everything that I know.
oh yeah, I agree. I agree. You shouldn't let it all out. Just in case. I can tell you one
I
thing
mean,
that. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I can tell you one thing that I possibly can do, and some other people can do that work with me. Is, for one, we have the ability to look into the background of them, especially the two roommates, to see almost everything
And the
about them.
landlord who had the
So,
cleaning done the same day.
okay. So I'm going.
Landlord's their friend, by the way, just so you know. They've all made it very clear that
Okay.
their landlord is their very good friend.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you, once we're done with
And the
this.
cleaning guy who
Uh-huh.
lived there for a whole year with his girlfriend.
Wow.
Yeah, he cleaned the house and then lived right there and had that as the master bedroom where my son was found is the master bedroom that him and his girlfriend, I guess, slept in until September or October of 2025. They moved out.
Wow.
That's quite strange, don't you think?
Yeah, just them cleaning up the same day is very like they cleaned up the
And then
crime
they move
scene,
in. And then he moves in.
cleaned it up right away. Because here's the thing, even if it was what they say it was, there still should have been an investigation properly done to make sure it is what they said it was, because then at least an investigation was done, everything was done correct way. Then you can try your best to move on, and try and go to the next step, in your life, the process of healing, things like that. But right now, you're still stuck at ground zero because you don't even know actually what happened.
No. I mean, they haven't told me. I'm figuring out little bits here and there. And, I have my own idea of what transpired. I can't give you 100%, but I can give you 100% that my son didn't do this to himself, that it's clear that there's plenty of evidence that clearly someone did this. I understand that there are people who lose their, family members to some, such as this self-inflicted, but I mean, clearly my son doesn't fall into that case. And, it's not whether he was happy or not. He was, oh my God, he was a motivator. I even found his hairstylist. She was a hairstylist for his hairstylist for 2.5 years. He'd go there every 7 or 10 days. And I said, man, I said, Adam was 100%. She goes, no, he wasn't. He was 110%. Okay. He always motivated, but like, what are you doing with yourself? Oh, you're doing that. How about this? Maybe you can try this or try that. This might be a good idea. It might work for you. You know, he was always a motivator. He believed that kindness is free and you should always do it. I've lived in the same house for 20 years in a cul-de-sac. Whenever he'd come and he'd see the trash can and he'd bring the neighbors too. It just, they see it's there. It makes them smile. They don't know who did it. You don't have to let people know when you do things. Like when you give money to charity, you don't have to say, hey, look at my name up there in lights. You do it from the kindness of your heart.
That is true. I'm
And
gonna need you to do me a favor. So once we are done with this,
mhm.
just send me exactly the roommates' names, how it's spelled, the landlord's names or name, and then also the address. I'm gonna need the address too. So send that to me, and then I'll see exactly, what we at least can find in our end. And if we find something, I can send that to you because any little bit can help you out.
Yes, and Connor moved to New Mexico. I find it odd how both of these roommates, one in August and one in October of a 2025, bought $250,000 homes, considering they didn't even have room for an apartment less than 8 months before.
Wow.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Wow.
Like I said, I mean, I hope I did not come off accusing a person. I did point out flaws in the investigation. As far as the other people, their behaviors just don't make any sense to me, which is what I pointed out. Like, your job is to clean up after a death scene. You get hired that day and then you move in there. Those things don't make any sense to me. I'm not saying this person did or didn't do anything to me or has anything to do with it. I don't know. All I know is that doesn't make any sense to me. And to go put your bedroom in where there was a violent death, that doesn't make sense. The roommates living there and them not being evaluated or investigated, that doesn't make any sense either. And especially when they make comments like, I stuck my finger in there because I wanted to see something and I like to hurt animals. Those aren't things that should be taken lightly. They should be looked into. They should be investigated because they don't make sense. And for an investigator to say, well, there wasn't, much of a mess, so it's a good thing because so now his roommates don't have much to clean up and be focused on his overtime pay, you know. And when things don't add up, He should be looking into them when he himself is saying that.
Do you know if the roommates were they after it all happened? Did they move out quickly, or were they? Do you know if they still lived there for a while, or?
Actually, here's the odd thing. The day after, because I was told on the 23rd about my son, on the 24th, one of them reached out to me and told me that they already moved out. Yet on the 26th, when I went there, when I was allowed to go there by the landlord, they were all hanging out, having a little old party and telling jokes and, kind of dancing. Or, well, the landlord was doing this little dance out there when we got there.
So one of them moved out right away.
No, they said they moved out,
Oh,
but they didn't.
they. Wow.
They moved out, but why were they there on the 26th then? If they moved out on the 24th?
How long were they living there before it happened? Do you know?
Yeah, we're not. Let's talk about more useful things because one of them wasn't living there that long. Nicholas wasn't there very long. He was just there a few months.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's just like, I don't know. See, when stories change, I have an issue with that. I have an issue when stories change. If you tell me, you went to the supermarket, you did all this, and came here versus, well, yeah, I was on a jet plane 30 minutes ago. They're two different stories. So when I hear the same story and then there are different events happening in there, it makes you listen to it a little more, or events that don't align, or words, or basically events that don't align. I mean, so like I said, I apologize if you think I came off rude towards anybody or aggressive towards a certain entity or anything. I felt like I did my best just to, stay focused on facts and point them
Mm-hmm.
out.
No, you're perfectly fine. And I want to say thank you so much coming on here and sharing this story. This video is gonna be re-uploaded, of course, and it's gonna have I already pinned the GoFundMe link in the chat, but it's also gonna be in the description of this video once it's re-uploaded. And I just want to say my condolences go out to you. Hopefully, you can get some traction, and when this is done, just send me the information that I asked for, and I have me and some others can actually look and see what we can, use our resources at least to see, what we can find.
And if you can get people to repost change.org and the GoFundMe, that would be great because I've been working so hard. I've been my own social media person. Basically, I think I sleep like 2 hours a night. If those can get posted, because I've been working pretty hard at it. I got like 500 signatures already, I think. And if we can get some more signatures, at least we can show them that you may not agree, but here's like 1,000, 2,000 people that said, you need to open this case up.
I agree. So I'm going to share all that for you, whatever. And once again, I want to say thank you so much for, coming on and sharing this and, being vulnerable and personable. And you didn't come off as rude. You're fine. You don't have to worry about that. I completely understand. I'm one of the ones who do understand just because, my situation. So I completely understand. So I want to say, thank you. You're always welcome to reach out. You have my number and things too.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure that I don't want anyone to think that I'm attacking anybody, because that's not my goal. My goal is to find out what happened to my son. And, any facts that I find, I'm just going to keep putting the facts up there. And I'm not interested in, picking at the roommates or the landlord or the cleaning guy or this or that and saying, you need to look at this. No, I'm just going to give you facts, and they should be enough for you to point to whoever needs to be looked at.
Okay. Do me a favor. If you can mention the link for the petition if it needs more signatures so people can hear that.
Oh yeah, here. I have it in a way that you can go to change.org, and there's a link that I made that it's Let's Do Better, just like Adam's Let's Do Better thing. Okay. So you go to change.org / Adam dash Let's Do Better. And of course the HTTP, you know, the two, whatever. Yeah. So c.org//Adam dash let's do better.
Thank you so much. And send that to me too, so I could put that in the description box when I re-upload this. So that way I have
Sure.
that in
I'll
there.
do that
Okay?
as soon as we get off of this live. And thank you for having me. I really appreciate you spreading Adam's case and my journey of loss, and something no parent should ever have to go through. And thank you everyone for being so supportive and listening. And please sign the change.org petition. I need you. Adam needs you. We need justice for Adam.
Well, thank you so much, Farrah. Okay, thank you so much. And you have my number, so please reach out to me and contact me with all that information, okay? And I'll be talking to you later.
Great. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
All right, you as well. I'm gonna, once this video, I'm gonna re-upload all the links for her. If you guys, oh wait, she's calling back. Let's see. Oh, never mind. So I'm gonna re-upload all the links on in my description when I re-upload this, so people can go and click on everything. So I might have the GoFundMe, the change.org, and then also the YouTube channel too. So if you guys want to take a look at the body cam footage again, 911 calls, stuff like that. And I am going to take the 911 call and I'm going to see exactly what can I do to clean it up. So that way we can try and hear exactly the conversations that the roommates were at least having in the background, because you can hear them talking. It's just that the lady typing, it was overpowering them talk, but you can hear them talking about something to each other in the background. So I want to hear exactly what they were saying. Let me read some of these comments. Tammy says, Ray, please tell her I'm proud of her. She did a great job in her son's investigation. Thank you, Tammy. Let me put that in there. Wonder Woman, thank you for being in here. Thank you so much. She says, please call in the chat. You can post this on your social media to get the mother some truth. But I wanted to share her story for everybody. And yeah, this is crazy. Bella says, if everyone can go to Arizona for Guthrie, why can't they swarm this city? You know, doing this channel, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot of some cases you look at and you're like, this case should be all over the news. And then some cases you look at and it is all over the news. And then you wonder, like, why? What's going on, you know? And I've learned doing this, you know, as you guys know, he's been following me. I do a lot of videos on people, you know, don't get a lot of views, but I still want to put them out there because these people need the same spotlight as, you know, the next person, you know. But something you always wonder, like, why the media picks to do some and not the other. Tammy says, Ray, remember to download the video so it doesn't disappear. Thank you. I will remember to save this. This one should be fine, I would think, hopefully. Saul says, go find your son and be unapologetic about it. Hey, do what you have to do. Save the sorries for later. Just going over some of your chats. Karen says, Ray is such a doll. Hey, I'm just human. Well, I try to be human. Try to be. Thank you, Karen. Karen says she shared, donated, and signed a petition. And Strength says, this is the first I've ever heard of this case. People must not know about it. Well, thank you guys for tuning in and listening to her story, listening to Farrah. I will do a follow-up and I'm going to wait for her to send me this information. And then after that, I am going to be sending stuff to Julia and whoever else I know that knows how to look into things and see what we can find that's going on. Since nobody else will help, see what I can do. Oh man, it sucks because I know that the easiest route, the easiest thing, if video footage could be obtained of whoever was trying to use the card, or some sort of way to get hands on cell phone records of who was trying to use her or his phone, that would be one of the easiest things to do. Because then you could start from there. Wonder Woman says, I totally applaud this mom who needs the truth, and it's because she's trying to just get answers, hasn't been able to grieve. I'm going to share for sure and dig for her too. Thank you. I know you will. I know you will. She needs to go to the governor email, the governor and the attorney general of the state. I can tell you many don't know about this case. I had never heard. Well, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in to this. Oh, wait. Before we leave, let me show you guys something real quick. Before we leave, hold on. I was going to post this later tonight, but since you guys are here, I'm going to show you this. All right. See if I can find it. So we have an update. I don't know if you guys have been following me with the Crystal Proctor case. The lady who was found in the back of the cargo van. We have an update. See if I can find, hold on real quick. I'm just looking for this. All right, WAI, let me look for this. I'm going to show you guys this. Let's see, where is it at? Here we go. Oh, Tammy, yes, this video is saved. It's actually saved as I'm recording. So it's actually saved. I literally would have to erase it. So it is saved. Karen said, I posted your video to Nancy Grace. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Thank you so much. I remember when I was younger, I used to be like, why is Nancy Grace yelling all the time? But as I got older now and I have such respect for Nancy now. Such respect. She's actually one of my favorites. I take a little bit from her and put it, you know, in my own little twist. So I don't know if you guys remember Crystal Proctor. I'm just going to show you guys this real quick. Crystal Proctor was the young lady out of San Antonio, Texas that was found in the back of the cargo van. I did 2 videos about it. A live too, actually. Did a live. And I showed you guys who the suspect is because the media, remember the media wasn't telling us? The media just showed you a picture. And let me show you guys the picture. Hold on. Let me show you guys the picture because I know the picture is probably going to refresh your memory just in case you forgot. Let me bring up the picture. Well, now my computer wants to go slow. All right. All right, so this picture right here, downsize this, put this over. So this picture right here, I don't know if you guys remember this, or if you guys seen the video about this. I did 2 videos. Crystal Proctor, lady found in the back of her own cargo van in San Antonio, Texas. This was what the media put out to say to look for this guy. Well, I put out a couple videos telling you who this guy is. I showed you exactly who this man was. I said this man is John G. Brown, the husband who goes by multiple names. Multiple names. Well, I think after a bunch of harassing the detectives, the family sent me this link.
Yes, absolutely. Hiding, she's the victim of a homicide. Just that her body was left there, and it was in an advanced state of decomposition.
So they did a press conference today on Crystal Proctor. It's really low. I don't know why they be having these things so low with the volume. It's crazy.
And we were trying very hard
to
identify this unknown suspect. Well, at this point, we've reached a point where we do believe we have him identified. And that's the name of the fugitive we're going to be putting out today. John Gregory Brown, 43 years of age. We believe him to be the husband of Crystal. At this point, he's got a charge of tampering, fabricating physical evidence with intent to impair a human corpse. It's a second-degree felony. Now, at this point, since we don't know that she's yet a victim of a homicide, we're not able to charge him with murder. What we do know definitively at this point is we believe that he dumped that van with her decomposing body in that van, and then took the steps, as you see, to mask his identity. At that point, he made efforts to.
Yep. So they're finally naming him as the actual suspect. They are finally naming John G. Brown, who I told you guys about, as the actual suspect. Finally. And that's his picture. John Gregory Brown, 43 years old. Finally naming him as the suspect. I think they were kind of forced to be honest with you. I think they were forced to name him as the suspect because I was on this man's ASS. I don't think they had a choice. But no, he hasn't been found yet. Not yet. But the man can't hide forever. That's all I'm going to say. The man can't hide forever. Wonder Woman said he said that weeks ago. He could be anywhere by now. Oh, Wonder Woman. You know I got some secrets. You know I got some secrets. I give it about a week, maybe a week, maybe 2. I'm gonna give it a week or 2. I'm gonna give it a week or 2. And then I'm going to be showing you justice being served for Crystal. Yeah, I got eyes everywhere, especially if you step in certain territories where I know people. I got eyes, people. I have eyes, especially in certain situations. But I'm going to do a follow-up video on this with Crystal Proctor, John G. Brown, and I'm going to do that. But I want to say thank you guys for tuning in and listening to her story, Farrah's story. Said, but you gave the police plenty of places to start the search. We will find out. But we will find out. No, Solomon, I don't think I heard about that. A gold, what? Yeah, I didn't hear about that. I'm actually saving that right now, and I'm going to look that up. Thank you, Solomon, for that. I'm going to look that up. Thank you. You know what I like about Saul Madison? Saul has no filter. Saul will say some stuff that will piss some people off in the chat. Saul will piss some people off in the chat. But Saul has no filter. He will say, or Saul will say whatever Saul wants to say. But at the same time, Saul will give you something that is very smart to think about too. At the same time of pissing somebody off. And Saul is always here in the chat supporting. Oh, it's funny how in the chat you start learning people. That's for sure. Ray got the eyes in the back of his head. I try to. Well, I want to say, Karen, thank you for tuning in. Tammy, thank you. Werner Woman, of course. Saul, thank you. Everybody who was in here, thank you so much. Nina, thank you too. I'm going to repost this video that was done. I'm going to trim out the beginning and you know, and redo it, repost it, whatever, so people can see this. And I have to worry about the fluff in the beginning, at the end, you know, just the important part, the interview. And then I'm also going to post the update about Crystal Proctor. All right. So thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. All right. Please like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I know YouTube's messing up. They don't want to show my notifications for some reason, but turn on your notifications. This is Fugitive TV. You guys take care. I'm going to talk to you later, and I'm out.